The key is really like, it's all God, it's all good, and do I remember that in each moment?
Every single moment. Yeah,
Well, that's the practice, right? We are humans. We need something to strive towards. We might not get to a perfect remembrance of God in every moment, but even just few moments per day is.
Yeah, even just sitting down with the breath.
My mind has a lot of flair for drama. It's like a telenovela series that likes to create these dramatic scenarios. The tears, the fears, the reunions that are so amazing. And over time, the mind you burn through the fear. Each time you follow your heart and you feel how the universe responds to you, because it will respond. You have burned through a little bit more separation and fear.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the Vibe Higher with Gigi podcast. I am Gigi. Today, I'm honored. We have a very special guest today, Mateo. I'm going to read his bio. His name is Mateo Arian. He is a Aryan. He is a psychologist, a master psychotherapist, and a spiritual teacher. He helps people heal deeply, step into their power, and live with clarity, freedom, and real abundance. His work bridges trauma integration, embodiment, and awakening into a fully expressed life. His deepest, or some of his deepest successes has been the ethereal realization that there is nothing to become and nothing missing, and allowing life to be lived from that understanding. On a practical level, guiding people through profound inner transformation and helping them come into real alignment, clarity, and freedom in their lives. I met Mateo during the I'm Creation retreat back in November. I was introduced to him through his container where you walked in. It was a group setting and you walked in, and as soon as you walked in, like your nervous system to kind of calm down, and it felt like a temple environment where you just sat through and received. You received, like, it's hard to explain what he does. He works with like parts work and our internal family systems work, from what I understand, and like working through the parts that we are, working with. So thank you, Mateo, for being with us today.
Such a pleasure to be with you, Galit.
Awesome. Thank you. Could you give us a little bit of an insight as to like what brought you here today, where you are today, and like, and what you do in your containers and, in your room today, like a bit about your journey.
Yeah. Well, hello everyone. Whoever is watching, great to be with you. I'm happy to share this next few moments and minutes together. Like most people, I suffered. I was in touch with suffering at a pretty young age, and I disconnected from myself growing up, which many of us do. But for whatever reason, I had enough remembrance to what it is I had disconnected from, that there was a kind of ache, or there was a kind of longing that kept calling me back. I didn't understand it, of course. I couldn't explain it in these words back then, but I might have said back then, like, there's something missing, or this can't be it. And so really this heart longing or call home was what was guiding me throughout my journey. And I went through many phases. I lived a pretty worldly life. I tried to find, quote unquote, my home or meaning in the world of success and relationships. And although it was satisfying in some ways, it just didn't hit the spot. It didn't fulfill that deeper calling. And so eventually I moved into spirituality, which I was quite skeptical about at the time. I was an engineer. I had a quite rational, skeptical mind. And I often share this story that my first introduction to spirituality was finding a Reiki healer. And I told my friend, let's go try this Reiki stuff so we can prove that it's BS. So my ego had this kind of pride or arrogance, and yet my soul was driven somehow. And this combo was quite present initially. Long story short, I end up on a mountain for 3.5 years, deep meditation practice. I did a lot of long retreats in darkness by myself. More than 100 days I was in darkness. And just a profound, profound journey seeing. I don't know if people have read Yogananda, the autobiography of a yogi, which is quite famous book. It's quite magical and fantastical in the sense of this yogi meets all these spiritual people and has all these incredible experiences. And yeah, my life was kind of like that. I had so many otherworldly, quote unquote, experiences and so many dimensions that opened up within that at some point for many years, that was my normal. It was like that was normal, and the material world, I didn't really know how to relate to it. And eventually, I moved to Dubai. I moved from the mountain to Dubai to integrate everything, to integrate material world, business world with all these kind of otherworldly, quote unquote, dimensions I now had access to. And that has led to this moment where I mostly feel a very ordinary sense of presence, grounded, contentment, peace, and a desire to be of service the best I can and to keep being in service of myself and everyone.
I love how you brought in like there was always something missing. There was always something deeper that you felt like you wanted to connect to, and then you had that like I don't know if they call it an awakening where you do more practice. I remember like growing up, my mother would open the door and I would be like praying to the outside window, and then she would hope that I would become like a Hasidic Jew. That didn't happen. And I got involved in like the yoga world and the traditional like Shivananda world. And and it's like there's different paths that we could take in order to find that.
Yeah.
Could you explain to me a little bit about your darkness retreat? So that's interesting. Like you were in the dark for a while, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to comment on what you said. That's profound. I really view life today very differently than I did back then. And I view life as a process of yoga. I mean, all of life I view as a series of opportunities to kind of realize life, to realize what we are, to realize what life is all about, not mentally, but quite directly. And so some people's path is through like asanas. Some people go do like kirtans and meditation. Some people do business. Some people get a family. Some people are in. But for me, it's all the path of yoga. It's all the path of kind of treading back to a unity of sorts, coming home. In terms of the darkness, yes, the longest one I did in a row was 49 days, which is a kind of traditional Tibetan in Buddhism. They traditionally do like a 49-day one. That's the longest official one that I know of. And as you can imagine, it's a profound experience. Your chemistry changes a lot in the darkness. You have big spikes of DMT after day 7, 8, and you have removed all distractions. We have so many distractions in daily life that help us avoid the truth of our beings, help us avoid that heartache that's still kind of there, or that vengefulness we have, that resentment we hold in our hearts. So, or that creative impulse, that happiness, all of it. So when you remove the distractions, because obviously you can't look at your phone, you can't go and eat a bunch of food. I mean, technically you could, but I was living off a few fruits per day in there. So you really just get to feel yourself. And at first my mind was rebelling for the first few days. It was like, this is boring. I hate this. Why did you put me here? But as most people have experienced, when you commit to something, after a few days, the mind just gives in, it accepts it and says, this is my fate. And okay. So a lot of healing, a lot of emotional honesty, insight, and also a lot of maybe mystical experiences.
Because in yoga, they call it tapas, right? It's removing stuff like the food, the light, the air. No, we need air. But all this stuff in order to like go within to remove the layers. And it takes time, right? Because the ego's like struggling. They're like, no, I want that fruit. I want that grape. I want that water.
Yes.
But yeah, it's just, but at some point the mind just the ego just kind of relaxes and like, lets go if we allow it to, right?
Yes. Just like if you fall in love and your mind maybe is scared at first, but eventually it kind of gives in, or going through motherhood and maybe it's really difficult and you don't get sleep. And at some point you kind of just accept it, you fall into it. So again, I mean, dark retreat or motherhood or fatherhood, we're all on the same journey, it's just different pathways.
Yeah, because for a long time I felt like business and money like you couldn't be spiritual because you mentioned business, right? And now you're like in the worldly world, doing what you do, working, like being at service to people in exchange for that monetary value. But it's, if we see everything is God, is yoga, is whatever you want to call it, then yeah, it's all good, right? It's like
Yes.
money's good too, right?
Yes, it's all good, and we can lose ourselves in anything. This is the kind of capacity for ignorance and forgetfulness that we all have. We can even lose ourselves in spirituality. So the key is really like, it's all God, it's all good, and do I remember that in each moment?
Every single moment. Yeah,
Well, that's
that's
the practice, right? That we are humans. We need something to strive towards. We might not get to a perfect remembrance of God in every moment, but even just few moments per day is wonderful.
yeah. Even just sitting down with the breath, and even like doing the breath work, for example, like it calms your nervous system, and that helps connect more with, right?
Yes.
With yourself, which is God, right?
Yes. Or you doing your stand-up comedy, or doing ecstatic dances, or us sitting together here, right? It can all be a kind of opportunity to presence together and to remember.
To learn.
To learn, to remember what we are, to offer our light to others, to like, one can do a ecstatic dance set from a more selfish place, or I can sit and do this podcast from a more selfish place where I'm self-focused and, oh, this is so important about me and all that, which is fine. That's the habit of ego and mind. Or I can step a little bit out of the way and open to something bigger. Like, no, like, nothing is really separate, and we're all functioning together. And it's more just letting your light shine and receiving other people's lights. So
Because like it's hard to get out of ourselves. We're always thinking of like what's better for us, our past, our present, our future. And then we bring others in, but we others are us. They're a reflection of us, right? So we are
yes.
them, they are us.
Exactly, exactly. It is hard. It is hard because our animal nature has survival programming, and which is fine, right? That's an intelligence to survive, to acquire food, etc. The issue is when the ego or greed takes over the survival programming, and then it's no longer about survival. I have a roof over my head, I have food. That's not the issue. I want more and more, and I'll not be satisfied. And I'm even willing to do harm to others or show disregard to others in order to have more for myself. This is a kind of sickness that's been normalized in our society. And I don't say sickness with judgment. I just mean sickness in the sense that it hurts us. Even when we are in that greed state, it's hurting. It doesn't bring happiness or peace.
So consciously doing harm to others in order to gain something for us is, yeah, you call it a sickness and illness, but it hurts us, right? Or it hurts the person. Yeah.
Yeah, consciously, which would maybe, we would be more psychopathic in nature if we consciously do harm. We don't have empathy for others, perhaps, but also unconsciously. I mean, we do so much unconsciously. I think most of us are good in our hearts. We have a kindness, we have a care. We're just not conscious.
Yeah, we need to breathe more.
Breathe more, laugh more, have more sex, take more walks at the beach, enjoy, open to the abundance.
Like anything that brings us back to the present moment, to be here and now. That's a
Yes.
channel,
Yes. Yeah.
portal. Awesome. Could you tell us a little bit about the container that you offer? Because it's hard to put it into words, like what you do. I know it's like a lot of parts work and then looking within through the emotions. But yeah, could you elaborate a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm sure many people have had the experience of going through a tough time or struggling somehow, and someone just really sees them in that. Maybe it's just a person says, it's going to be okay, and you really feel them, or they just put a hand on your shoulder, and it's not like it wasn't a big thing, but perhaps it made such a huge impact on us, right? It stays with us for years, for decades. So to me, that's because everything is energy, everything is intention, and we feel people's intention. Someone may be a very simple person who doesn't know a lot of techniques or all this stuff. But if we feel their love, if we feel their seeing of us, that does something. So in my work, the primary thing is it's energy, it's intention, it's presence. That's what we're all responding to in each other all the time. There are different techniques I use, which I have many techniques that I've learned. I'm a psychologist too and psychotherapist. And so I have kind of formal training. They are simply vehicles for me to transmit, to embody, to reflect, to mirror certain energies. The main energies are, of course, compassion, gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
So my work is really all about that, just being with people and seeing how I can reflect love. And I get to be creative. I get to be an artist and be creative in all the ways I can try to do that.
And even like showing love in the parts of us that don't feel good in the moment, right?
Yes.
Like the jealousy, the anger, the betrayal, the needing. It's showing love to those parts, or just attention, or just presence, right?
Yes. It's all part of the whole. It's all part of the harmonious field, even when it looks disharmonious, like shame or unworthiness or vengefulness, rage. And when we show these parts attention, these parts that believe they're separate from life, that's why they're suffering. We can't really be separate from life ever. But these parts that believe they're separate from life, like the unworthy part, when we show them love, when we welcome them back into the embrace of life, embrace of wholeness, they relax. They remember their nature.
So they are part of life and love, and
Yes.
and light.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And so it's the feeling that we have towards them, because our minds say they're negative, and then hence our feelings towards them are negative.
Exactly. Exactly. So the process of labeling and discrimination is our mind, as human beings, our mind has a capacity to separate, to differentiate, to discriminate. It's a healthy capacity when used practically. For example, it allows us to build really brilliant things, amazing things, because we can differentiate between a piece of wood and different types of wood and how that combines with other items. So it's a practical capacity that animals don't have to that same degree. The issue is when we start using that practical capacity to divide life up, to divide ourselves up, and then we label like, that's shame. I don't like that part. And this is my happiness. I like that part. So psychologically, we split ourselves up into a million pieces and
Our
through
mind
judgment.
does.
Our mind does through judgment. And so we feel very split. We feel very fragmented. And we can undo that whole splitting. We can undo it right back to how we were as babies while still being able to function and differentiate. We don't lose that.
Yeah, because as babies, we come out like pure. I mean,
Yes.
we come out like at 2 years old, where we have our parents like recognize our own personalities, but we're just like vehicles of love and
Yes,
light.
totally. And we're totally undifferentiated. So we don't have practical capacity as babies. And the gift of life is to gain all of that differentiation, to learn to function as an individual and
In
be
society.
in that undifferentiated state that a baby is simultaneously.
Talk to me about undifferentiation, because that's a big word.
Yeah, simply put, lack of splitting, lack of separating. Yeah. So an example of that, when I see someone who's black, the mind might say, that person is black and I am brown and we're different. Or when I see someone unspiritual, that person is not spiritual. Or I do Zen spirituality. They do Tantra. So all this kind of splitting the mind is always doing, it actually creates an experience of separation. We start actually experiencing, oh, that person is really there and they're different. That activity can be seen through and it can relax. And when it relaxes, you don't experience things in that separate way anymore.
Right. It's a journey though, because we are quite, like a lot of us or most of us are quite differentiated, whereas
Oh yeah,
we use our
yeah,
mind.
yeah, definitely. It's a
Mm.
journey, and it's plenty of time.
Mm. So do we need to go up in the mountain and spend 3 years up there?
At least 10 years, I think, for most people. Then we need to leave everything. No, I'm kidding.
That's cool. I'm ready.
You're ready. You're like, sign me up. I've had enough. I've had enough of all this mess. Um, I
City
think
life.
we all have to follow our calling, Gigi. That's my main thing. Some people are called. Rarely people are called to the mountains. It's a pretty extreme move. But if you are, follow it. But some people are called to having babies and families. Others want to pursue their creative pursuits. It's all can all be part of your spiritual journey.
Because it nourishes our soul somehow. Like, and it enables it to be nourished, right? All these modalities.
Yes, it's when you follow your heart, you are inevitably one with yourself. When you follow your heart, you're not split anymore in those moments because you're moving from your connection to yourself. And so when you follow your heart, you're practicing a state of meditation in a sense.
And so how people talk a lot about like mind heart coherence, like
Yeah.
how do you attain that? Like how do you know that it's in coherence when your whole body says like fuck yes?
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Yeah, for me personally, it's taken a long time for my mind to get into coherence with my heart, to at least to some degree. And many times when I followed my heart, it wasn't like a perfect, oh, now angels are singing to me and my mind is totally in coherence. It was more like my heart saying yes and my mind freaking out and being scared and like, what is this going to mean to me? I'm going to lose everything. Everyone's going to hate me. The mind has at least my mind has a lot of flair for drama. So it's like a telenovela series that likes to create these dramatic scenarios,
The tears.
The tears, the fears,
The
the
dramatic.
reunions that are so amazing.
Love it.
But over time, the mind you burn through the fear. Each time you follow your heart and you feel how the universe responds to you because it will respond. And you have burned through a little bit more separation and fear.
Yeah. So you do it anyway, even if the fear is there, right?
Yes, definitely.
Through the anxiety and through all these negative emotions. But if like there's something that's telling you this is what you want to do, this is good for you. And even though, feels like you're going to
Yes.
jump out of a plane.
Yes, and I would say, because I see in a lot of spiritual circles, people also use this kind of teaching to do some crazy big moves that completely destabilizes their life in the name of following their heart, which can be fine. It can be a fast, accelerated path. And you don't need to do it that way. You can also do it gradually. So I just want to throw that option out there for people.
Right. Like you don't have to do extreme things. Like there's like the sweat lodge. That's one of my practices when I was like back in North America. And it was because I knew the land, I knew the boreal, I knew the leaves, I knew it. But over here, it's like, I want to do it, but I don't feel, and it's extreme, it's like you're in the dark and I'm scared of the dark and it's hot and and there's all this noise and this drumming and like, I don't have to do it. I could. It would be nice at the.
It sounds great. I've never tried it. Sounds amazing.
I love sweat lodges because it feels good. You just have to push through the first the first door because they pay homage to the four directions. Yeah, it's a powerful tool. But all Native American tools are like super, like the ayahuasca and all this, the San Pedro and everything is like really intense. So it depends where you are at. If you're ready for some intensity.
Yes.
But it doesn't always have to be intense. Like it could be gradual, right?
Gradual is good. I think gradual is really good. It balances us out. It allows us to integrate. Most of us, I mean, in the traditional yoga, they would differentiate sometimes between renunciates or recluses who just go to the mountains and are practicing alone, and householders. Most of us are householders. We're living in the world. We have families. We have responsibilities. So find ways to integrate your spirituality, your growth practice into your daily life.
It brings me back to someone that I met, a brahmacharya that I met in India, and he said there's one guru in India, and it's the only way to really connect with the ether, with spirituality, and it's through this guru. So, but you have to go there, and you have to be a brahmacharya, a renunciate everything, meat, chastity, everything, and it's the only way because it's an oral way of doing so. And then it stuck with me. And then he messaged me a year later. He's like, this is the only way, because the more you grow older, the more your brain calcifies and you grow into the same habit. So yeah, that's kind of stuck with me. So I'm not there. But is it the only way, right?
Which is the only way, do you mean?
It's like a Vedic guru that shares the Vedic teachings through oral modality. He's like, you have to be the guru of the gurus. And apparently this is the guru of the gurus, right? Forgot his name.
Yeah, I can follow that to some degree. And I would also say, there are myriad ways. Every moment is the way. You can get hit in the head by a rock and wake up because it's your nature. It's nothing outside of you. It's nothing that's going to be imparted from someone else. It's the water you swim in. It's the air you breathe. It is your very own nature. In one sense, there is no condition in order to know your own nature. In another sense, and I used to disagree vehemently with that. And my mind would really fight it each time I heard this saying that you need a guru. If you want enlightenment, at least, if you want to liberate spiritually, you need a guru. And my Western mind would really be against that idea. It didn't sit well with me. And today I would say, yes, you need a guru, because to liberate beyond your own mind, the mind cannot do it. And so to have a guru, or to surrender to a guru, is the ultimate act of humility. Is your mind admitting, I don't know how to resolve this, and I will bow down. Really, you're bowing down to yourself. You're not bowing down to an external figure. Yeah. But it's the mind giving completely up, giving all its pride up. Because, externally we can look maybe full of shame or feeling very unworthy, but that's still pride. That's still ego pride. It's still, I know who I am. I am this unworthy person, or I am this great person. It's the same thing. So the guru principle is very helpful, perhaps essential, in us giving up our pride, which will allow us to see what's beyond it. But of course, there's also a lot of abuse, a lot of fake gurus, and, we need to have discernment.
Yeah, like we grew up with teachers. We go to school, we have teachers, we have business coaches. Coaches are teachers, but I guess in spirituality, give it to God. Like if we have problems in our mind, it's like, okay, no, you, Jesus, Muhammad, Allah, whoever, whatever is God.
Yes.
Just give it to God, or the angels and the spirits, and then somehow it works out. Because we're just giving it, because we can't do it. We can't do it alone. We can't do it alone. Can we do it alone?
Yes, and it's such a great point you make that, most of us feel comfortable like getting a tennis coach or a swimming coach or a business mentor, but there is something about like surrendering to a spiritual authority. Like, I think it feels shameful or scary for many of us. And part of it is that we have this idea that we're supposed to, as a mind, as an ego, figure out life. I should be able to figure out life. I should be able to figure out who I am and what the truth is. And if I can't, I have failed. But we cannot figure it out.
Because society tells us we should, unless they want to sell us something.
Yeah, we should. We should have it all together. We should be in control. We should be confident and know the answers. And in one level, it's true. On another level, it's BS, because we don't know anything. Nobody knows what life is. We can read all the scriptures. We can live a full materialistic. You can't know what life is. You can be life. You can know your oneness with life, but you cannot step outside of life and understand it.
Steep. You can't step out, because we just are.
Who would step out? It would be life, pretending it's stepping out of life, looking at life.
Grateful for life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, I was going to mention something. I forgot. But is there something that grateful for life? Is there something that you're excited about now within your life and excited about in the future for the future? No, in your life, yeah, and in the world, yeah.
I'm going on an Italy road trip with some friends in a month. I'm kind of excited about that, to get to spend some time with friends and eat some good food and drive around Italy. But mostly, I don't feel particularly excitement is not a feeling I feel a lot. I mostly feel gratitude and contentment and ease and a willingness to, whatever happens, happens. I might die tomorrow. I don't know if I'll be alive tomorrow or tonight. I might live 100 years. So just a kind of okayness, a flow. My life is really dedicated to the study of reality, to the living of reality. So I love meditating. I love deepening. I love serving. I love sharing about these topics. But excited, no, I would say it's more of a love flow most of the time.
Yeah, gratitude helps a lot. Gratitude, yeah. So do you feel like you live, so your life is like living within an ashram, of the ashram, but in the outside world? It's like that the spiritual practice that you have, the meditation, the consciousness.
Say
So,
more
like,
about that with living in an ashram. You mean like being in that state of consciousness while being in the world?
creating those practices and being in those practices and that consciousness constantly, right? Because the ashram can, offers a container for that.
Yes. Yes, I would say it like the world is the ashram. So the inner and outer is unnecessary. The world is the ashram. There's only the ashram, or there's only the world. They would be the same thing.
There's
So
only the world.
in Hindu belief system, I think it's Advaita Vedanta, they have this saying where they say, in the beginning, you only see the world, right? You don't see anything else. And then in the second stage, you see the world is unreal. There is only Brahman or God. But in the third stage, you say the world is Brahman, the world is God. So you kind of come into this integration of spiritual and material in a sense.
It's Samadhi. It's like that third stage
Yeah, you
where
could
you're.
call it samadhi. Yeah, samadhi or wholeness or total relaxation. Yeah, total relaxation into just this, whatever this is. Hard to say what this is.
Like, apparently Sadhguru's wife went into Samadhi consciously, meaning she transitioned.
Yeah, and dropped her body. Yeah, yeah.
So that's an option too. No, I'm not
Yeah,
advocating for that.
I don't know. I don't know what happened to her, or I can't speak to that process. I can only speak to my own process, which is just this fundamental ease more and more, and a freedom from making a difference between spiritual and material. Like the duality has relaxed to a profound degree. So then it's okay. Whatever is kind of okay.
That duality between the ego and the heart and
The ego and the
the
heart,
life,
or the spiritual and the material.
right? Like amalgamating them.
Yeah, amalgamating them or seeing that they were both just concepts. Like an animal doesn't have a concept of spirituality and materiality. They're just in the pure experience of life. So it's a mind made creation. Spirituality and materialism is a mind made creation. There is only life.
And the present moment.
The present moment is life.
Awesome. Thank you, Mateo. Thank you. You're offering some containers coming forward, but I think they're all filled up. But eventually they'll be opening, more will be opening up.
Yeah, I'm hoping to do some. I've been kind of mostly working just privately the last few years, and I'm hoping to do some more public work in the next few months over the summer of 2026. So, and people can reach out to me if they want to work privately. That's mostly what I've been doing so far in the last few years, at least.
So we'll put all your links down below in the description.
Sure.
And you do speaking gigs as well?
Yeah, I do speaking sometimes. I'm open to that, although I really prefer to do the work with people. I prefer to be very experiential because, I mean, in this information age, all the information is out there and still we're suffering. It doesn't really help to just have information. We need to taste the mango, quote unquote, not just read about it. That's what's transformational. Experience it for ourselves.
So once we read about it, then we experience it, and that helps. But yeah,
kind of like that sweat lodge experiences you were sharing about. Like, I cannot understand what that is because I haven't tried it yet. I can reference it to things I have tried, but it won't be quite it. So to really taste it for ourselves and let that taste impact us, penetrate us, transform who we think we are into maybe something more open.
Right. So once I go in there and I transcend the fact that I'm going to be okay with the heat, with the sound, with the darkness, like sometimes there's like a little spark of light from the rocks that are coming into the sweat lodge, and then I could focus on that. But what if they disappear?
Yeah.
But then the door will always open. The light will always come through. So yeah, just going beyond that.
And to play devil's advocate, I believe there were some deaths also in sweat lodges. So the door doesn't always.
You have to. You have to trust.
I'm sorry for any victims out there.
No. Yeah, respect. But you have to trust the moderator definitely in the environment, and you have to follow your heart, and you have to, like, if there's a voice saying no, then yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you need to get out. Sometimes when the thought says, I need to get out, you just need to get out. Don't say it's just a thought.
There was an experience in Peru that I had where I was in a not a good situation with another person, and then I had to get out of that sweat lodge. And then the moderator said it was a representation of something that you had to leave. You had to get out.
Yes. Yeah. Nice. So you did leave.
I did.
Yeah, that takes courage too. I think sometimes we just try to fit in or do what's right or what we imagine is expected, whether in a spiritual circle or at work or whatever. And there's also a lot of courage in just being a bit of a revolutionary sometimes, and not just to kind of protest or rebel, but to follow your heart.
Mm-hmm. The last 2 sweat lodges I left, I don't want to go back and leave. That's another thing. That's my ego. But it's okay to leave too. It's okay. It's all good. Thank you, Mateo, for being here.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Awesome. See you guys in the next episode. Thank you. Of Vibe Higher with Gigi. Thank you.